Welcome to TOMMO'S Race CHINWAG, your favourite Formula 1 podcast produced by a British biased bloke with a massive Swede full of very questionable wheel knowledge. Broadcast live on YouTube and after the fact on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have a good old natter about each and every Grand Prix of the season. My name's Tommo, let's talk about it. And we are back. Welcome everyone to TOMMO'S Race CHINWAG Austin Grand Prix edition. My name's Tommo. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for coming along. I've put this at a very friendly time to all you Americans out there. 9 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. LA, 4 p.m. New York, or I've got that the wrong way around. I think that's right. Welcome, wherever you are in the world, on the live chat here on YouTube, also audio only, and video on Spotify after the fact. However you're watching, thank you very much for coming along. Hello, Jim, Pigskin, Harry, NK McFrin, Seamus, Daniel, Dumda, Lou, Sophia, Blade, Desktop, Lunard, Famke, Alfie, and the rest of you. 1 p.m. here in Germany. 10 p.m. here in Germany. Of course, it's not 1 p.m. in Germany. What am I talking about, Lou? You got me there. With the O next to the 1. Anyway, I digress. Austin Grand Prix this weekend at the Circuit of the Americas. I am buzzing for this one. We still have a title fight. Max, it's a stretch, 62 points. If anyone can do it, it's him. I've not given up hope that he's going to factor in this title fight. Realistically, it's going to be the McLarens, and hopefully McLaren will heed what I put in the thumbnail. Hopefully they will let them race and stop bloody interfering. McLaren, please. For the sake of everyone, stop. For the sake of yourselves, stop. Come on, behave yourselves. Anyway, 9 a.m. in New Zealand. Literally, we are hitting everyone. This is the perfect time for literally everyone, apart from everyone in Eastern Europe, I guess, and Asia who's asleep. So, sorry about that. Anyway, there's always someone asleep, but there's always someone awake as well. That is the beauty of live streaming to the world and waffling about this wonderful sport we call Formula 1. Anyway, round 19 Austin. I'm buzzing for this one. Circuit of the Americas has become an absolute staple. And, I mean, it's got everything, surely. It's got great high speed, great medium speed, great low speed, great undulation, high temperatures, which can play havoc with your tyre wear. Incredible fan reception there. And it's probably top of my list of Grand Prix I'd love to go to. Austin, it really is. Next year. I keep saying this. I keep saying next year. But I'm saying it again next year. Next year we'll make it happen, okay? Next year we will make it happen. Actually, a great Tilke track, Kira. Actually, a great Tilke track. It is a bit of a Frankenstein. It's got a lot of corners nicked from other tracks. The winding S is very similar to what you see at Suzuka and Silverstone. But that's not a bad thing, is it? Like, realistically, it might not have its own identity in the same way those other tracks do, but it does create an incredible racing track that consistently delivers bangers, I would say. Consistently delivers bangers. Welcome Arnold from Kenya as well. Appreciate you, Arnold, coming along. So yes, round 19 Austin at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. 5.13 kilometers long, 56 laps of this absolute Hail Mary of a track. 20 corners, 3 sectors as per usual. The tyre compounds on show C1, C3, C4, so we're getting a gap once again. I was reading an article from Mario Sola, the big dog at Pirelli, before I went live. He was saying, the idea, and they did this in Spa as well, having the gap between tyre compounds is to try and, make a one-stop doable, but on a way worse compound. And give those, because the ideal is a two-stop, of course, but if you can make a one-stop viable and make it a difficult decision where some teams go one way, some teams go the other, splits in strategies always tend to deliver very good races as long as the crescendo meets in a very, very close place, right? That's how you avoid boring, dull, annoying, long races. So C1, C3, C4, the hardest of the 6 Pirelli compounds, the third hardest, the fourth hardest, softest. Anyway, those are the tyre compounds on show, and the temperature is going to be pretty high. Highs of 34 on Saturday. So if you go in, slap on the sun cream. Not sponsored, but I don't know if you get it in the States, Bulldog SPF 15 moisturizer is great, right? I went on holiday last week and didn't get burnt once on my face. Doesn't smell like sun cream. Not sponsored, but Bulldog, if you're interested, I'm a big fan of your product. So slap that on your face. It doesn't smell like sun cream. It doesn't have that sticky, horrible residue. But yes, be safe, right? Don't get sunburn. Skin cancer is not something you want to be messing about with. So, yeah, good luck this weekend. It's temperature's okay here in the UK. 34 is excessive. So, yeah, be careful. Be careful, please. Beauty influencers, you reckon, Alita? That's my next... I've done football YouTube unsuccessfully. I've done F1 YouTube. Beauty influencer is the next strategy for me. But yeah, there's the track, right? Lots of up, lots of down. A very, very cool. I've got really itchy nose. You know when it's like in your nose, it's really itchy. You got a worldie of a turn one, a very, very wide, lots of different lines you can take, especially through turns 13, 14, 15, 16, that kind of section as well. You get a lot of up and unders. We had a lot of worldy battles last year. Fernando Alonso was getting absolutely rattled by Liam Lawson. Got to say, Liam was not shy of poking bears last year, was he? Whether it was Sergio Perez or Fernando Alonso. Two of the most fan-adored drivers, Liam. Pick your battles, son. Pick your battles, lad. Come on. Tommo looks perpetually sunburnt. That is true, Patrick. That is true. Imagine if I was actually sunburnt, though. Imagine how pink I would look. I'd be even more on brand, to be honest. Be even more on brand. But yes, Circuit of the Americas. I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be a banger because if anything last year goes to show is that it should be. That was terrible English. But yeah, what a race last year. Very, very exciting. I thought, anyway, I very much enjoyed this race last year. I rewatched the highlights before going live today just to refresh the old memory on what happened. Of course, we had Max and Lando. Towards the end of the season, Lando was still within a mathematical chance of winning the title. Max started behind him, Lando on pole. Max chucked it up the inside. Lando could not leave the door open there. I know Max would have tried the up and under if he had closed the door more, but he left the door open enough. Max sniffed an opportunity, chucked it down the inside, sent Lando wide, as so often happened. When you go wall to wall with Max, that's kind of what he does. And Charles Leclerc got the up and under, overtook both of them. He started P4 and was leading out of turn one. Unreal start for Charles Leclerc. Unreal start for Charlie Boy. Carlos made some good progress as well. And then, of course, Lando and Max had their little tangle where Lando got passed around the outside into turn 11, I want to say, 10, whatever it is. The sharp left-hander after the kind of back straight. Didn't fully get past Max. He didn't complete the overtake, which I think was important because then Max kept it on the inside, stayed on the inside, broke very late, didn't keep within the track limits himself, but Lando technically did go off track and gain advantage, use that ability to go off track to get the position. It was a bit contentious at the time. Lando got his 5-second penalty, and could he have given the place back and had another go? Yes. Should he? Yes. But we're operating in these grey areas in F1 when it comes to rules, and that's the beauty. You call it beauty. Sometimes it depends who you ask, right? That is what Max does. He always gives the stewards a decision to make, and he knows that line, and he can dance around it. And he came out on top last time out. He's the one standing on the podium, not Lando Norris, at the end of the day. So yes, that was that was one. That was one last year. And will we see that again this year? With, of course, the McLaren teammates going at it in the title fight, only 22 points between them, a much closer gap in the title fight this year. Again, can Max be a factor? Spoiler alert for my prediction. I think the temperatures, if the Red Bull is able to be competitive over a race distance in plus 30 degrees, when the McLaren's so good at managing its tyres, then I'll tell you what, Red Bull have really fixed their car. But I'm not predicting it. We'll see, but I'm not predicting it. Yeah, sorry, Patrick. I did actually go live 10 minutes early because I was like, why not? Why not? I'm here. I'm ready. And some of you are already here in the live chat, so I appreciate you if you are here early. If you're not here early, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted to go live because I just wanted to talk. All right, come on. So yeah, last time out, great race. Well done, Charles Leclerc, for winning the 2024 Austin GP, can't help thinking Ferrari might not be so lucky this time. Step the creator, Ferrari downfall is crazy. I forgot he won. So did I. So did I, Shep. So did I. Okay, quali head-to-heads. After 21 of 30 qualifying sessions so far this season, we have 9 left to go, which is 6 Grand Prix and 3 sprint qualifyings to go. Average gaps, you can see them on screen right now. The TLDR, obviously the biggest gap is Max to Yuki, over 6/10. Then Alonso over Stroll and Russell over Antonelli is about 3/10. Leclerc over Hamilton is just under 2. Hadjar over Lawson is about 1.5. Gasly Colapinto is about 1.25. And then you've got Piastri Norris, Bortoleto Hulkenberg, Behrman over Ocon, and Sainz over Albon, all within a 10th. Very, very tight between most teammate pairings. You've got, 7 of them split by less than 2/10. And when you consider, Lewis is obviously in a new team, getting used to a new braking system, a lot to get used to at Ferrari, and Scholl's an absolute demon over a lap. That's not actually too bad, in my opinion. Colapinto to Gasly as well is very impressive, given the context of how Colapinto's come into this Alpine seat. So, yes, quality head-to-heads, kind of interesting, like the way it looks. Shumi, 4 a.m. in the Philippines, and I have a midterm exam in uni later, but I'm here. Shumi, listen. This is direct to you, Shumi. Go to bed. This is not worth it. You've got your exam. Do it, all right? Trust me. I'm speaking from experience here. In my first year of uni, I missed an exam because I overslept. And I remember I was so more. I got up, realised the exam starts in like 10 minutes, and I was like 45 minutes from, like, even if I got dressed straight away and got there, I was like 45 minutes away. So I did that, got dressed, went there, got all the way there, looked in the room. Obviously the exam, I don't know what I was expecting. The exam was already going on, and I just felt so awkward that I just left. What was I expecting? Like, obviously I was going to have to open the door and be like, hello, I'm 45 minutes late. More than that by that time. And I just left because I felt so awkward. So, but I did end up, I've got a 2-1 in the end. So we take it. But that certainly didn't help, because then I had to resit the exam, and it was capped at a pass, which is 40%. And I actually got like 67, 68% in the exam, but it got capped because I'm an idiot. Anyway, also I missed my flight coming back from a holiday last week because I spent too long in Burger King and lost track of time. But anyway, moving on. I did product design actually, Callum, not graphic design. Never mind. Enough about my misgivings. I've never missed a flight in my life before, by the way. That is definitely a first. But there you go. It was an unsuccessful golf holiday. What can I say? Right. Stop. I know. I'm talking to everyone's asking in the live chat about my lateness, my lack of punctuality. But we are here to talk about Formula One. We are here to talk about qualifying head-to-heads. All right. And we are here to tell Shumi to go to sleep because you've got an exam tomorrow, mate. And don't make the mistake I did. Right. Quali head-to-heads done. Driver standings. 18 rounds of 24 complete in 2025. 22 points, 336 Piastri, 314 Norris. 63, Verstappen is behind Piastri. 273 to Piastri's 336. Other than that, none of these positions matter. I mean, Albon's 18 points behind Antonelli. I don't think is going to close that gap. Unfortunately, between now and the end of the season, that was kind of something, obviously, I was looking at as a personal little battle to be focused on. Science position-wise is much more representative. Still not fully representative, but much better than him being P18 like he was for far too long. But it's kind of crazy. You've got, outside of Colapinto, who obviously jumped in mid-season and only got 8 races. You've got, Behrman and Bortoleto. 2 drivers who I think have pretty good, very good, if anything. They're both out-qualifying their teammates. Rookie seasons in F1 are the lowest full season drivers in terms of points, and they're both on 18, which is a decent whack of points compared to some years. And then Sonoda and Gasly only 2 points ahead of them. So yeah, there's something in there about the way F1, at least in this ground effect era, now that it comes to an end, the field for spread has definitely come together. At least the midfield has closed right up. McLaren still carried an advantage coming into this season, which is disappointing from a competition standpoint, given how far we are into these regs. McLaren having as big an advantage as they had at the start of the year. Credit to them, but disappointing from the other top teams. But we'll see. We'll see. Will Piastri, will Norris win? Actually, you know what? While we're here, because there's realistically, as much as I'm sure there's some George Russell fans out there who are holding on to some hope, who's winning the title this year? I want to see what you lot think with 6 races to go. So is it Piastri, is it Norris, or is it Verstappen? Who are you thinking? Because there's some... Again, if anyone can do it, it's Max, but you're asking him to overturn a Herculean deficit with not all that many races to go. So, what do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the live chat and in the live poll that is here. If you are watching this live on YouTube again, thank you for coming along. If you're watching this after the fact, you can't get involved with the poll, but don't you worry. I'll try and move these streams to different times to try and accommodate to different people. It's always good fun. But yeah, thank you for coming along. And thank you, I'm sure you already have, for dropping a comment down below. Interact however you can with what I do, because it really does help. The collective all coming together. I am still stubbornly on this whole one-man band where I do everything myself because I'm a control freak. It is what it is. And so, yeah, it would be much appreciated if you can get involved in any way, shape or form. Right. 188 of you have voted. 60% of you have said Piastri's winning the title this year. 17% Norris, 23% Verstappen. The thing is, like, as of late, you got to say, right, over the course of the season, undoubtedly in my mind, Piastri's been stronger than Norris, but over recent weekends, I don't think you can say that. I think Lando has stepped up. Is it enough? Is it too little too late? Probably. But I do think and I don't think you can doubt Lando's out-and-out pace. Their out-and-out pace is very close. I would probably give it to Lando. He'd shave it. But then when it comes to racecraft and just, I guess, lack of mistakes, I would give that to Piastri. But I would say in this kind of most recent, I don't know, third of the season, Lando's been a way more complete driver than he was in the first 2/3 of this season relative to the 18 rounds we've had so far, in my opinion. But the championship's won over 24 races, not over 1. So it pays dividends, and Oscar was absolutely cooking earlier on in the year, but he needs to find a little bit of something, because he is definitely having a bit of a wobble, isn't he, Oscar? No matter how much some people go, oh, it's just McLaren favouritism against him, blah, 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 which, again, I don't believe is true. I just think McLaren are making it more difficult for themselves because they're trying to be all, we are super fair, blah, 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 whatever. Oscar also has definitely had a bit of a wobble. Needs to recenter. And he's in his 3rd year in F1, and he's racing against Lando, Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton, like Alonso. Like, I know Alonso's not got a top car, but he's still, you got to beat what's in front of you. And Piastri's done a phenomenal job given his 3rd season in F1, if you ask me. Anyway, can't wait for the questions Zach will get in his TEP conference. If you haven't watched my most recent video, by the way, covering the McLaren versus Palou court case, where there's been a lot of bars dropped. Apparently, everyone's just kind of... you go on Twitter, that's the mistake, isn't it, going on Twitter and seeing the way that Zach Brown is being absolutely dragged, to for want of a better term. I mean, they won the court case against Alpine when it came to Oscar, and I've got a feeling they're going to win this court case against Alex Palou. But that remains to be seen. That's just my opinion based off of what I've seen anyway. First mistake, Twitter, exactly, Rainer. Exactly, Rainer. So yeah, 59% of you are saying Oscar is going to win this title, 16% Norris, 25% Verstappen after 288 votes. Thank you very much for voting. Appreciate it. Right, so Driver standings, Bosch, lovely jubbly, done. Team standings, McLaren, of course, have already won the Constructors, but every single position does count for prize money. $10-12 million, not sure the exact figure between position, but it's significant, especially to those smaller teams as well. McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, they've got enough money, but for all the teams below that, that makes a difference. Now, of course, the higher you finish, the less ATR, wind tunnel time, you get for the following season, but again, for the smaller teams, that money is a bigger win than the relative loss of wind tunnel CFD, as far as I'm concerned anyway. So Williams are looking very, very good for P5 right now, which will be a lovely big payday for the team from Grove. We'll see. But yes, like you say, Pranav, World Constructors Championship number 2 spot is very much up for grabs, and this will certainly be a battle of, yeah, it's more of a pride thing, right? Because again, if Red Bull finish 4th, like, they don't need the money, and also they'll get a little bit more ATR wind tunnel time, which probably to them is valued more relative than it would be for, say, Alpine finishing last, right? They would rather the prize money, I'm sure, because that team's all about money, seemingly, because they're just selling off stakes left, right and centre, and it is what it is at Alpine, but we won't get onto that. That's a whole video in itself. I think Mercedes will probably hold on, won't they? I think Antonelli will probably find enough, and George Russell's driving out of his skin at the minute. And the Mercedes does actually seem to be somewhat competitive, probably win in Vegas, because they always seem to turn up there. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. This has been an absolute dominant season from McLaren. Don't get it twisted from a constructor's point of view. Anyway, right. We have one main story, really, to talk about today, which is that we have finally seen Mercedes officially announce George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli for 2026. But they've only gone that far. In their official statement, they've not said anything beyond then. Now, I've read a bunch of things from the various journalistic integrity people out there, the ones with actual integrity, unlike myself, who are saying that George actually has a multi-year option, even though Mercedes didn't, again, in their statement, choose to out and out call it a multi-year option, which they could have done, which teams typically do. And yeah, it feels like there's an option for George for 27, but also there's an option on Mercedes side for 27. Typical Toto and his 1+1 year contracts, Avkid, as you said. Oh yeah, that Ted thing as well. Yeah, we'll get onto that. What do I make of this? So we know that Toto. No, I'm going to say it the way I say it, right? Toto Wolff has a way of going about contracts. So he always leaves them last minute. He always did with Lewis, remember? He would always be super late on in the year where Lewis's, extension would be announced. But Valtteri, he always just gave him 1 year, and Valtteri didn't like that. But Toto was like, there are two names as well I can't pronounce. Valtteri and Toto. Come on now. So, yeah, Bottas only got... And even Bottas, I can't even say Bottas either. For crying out loud. They're all just 1 year extensions. That's kind of the way Toto likes to go about business. For George, obviously, Wolff's been so publicly courting Verstappen for so long now. That must annoy George. Given the level he's been driving at, he's been incredible this season. And I think he's got his crashiness out of his system now, to be honest. I think Leclerc went through that. Verstappen went through that. You go through these years where you are learning where the line is. And I think George, more often than not, every time he's had a car good enough to win, he has won this year, mostly speaking. So, as much of I want to think, this is a bit muggy from Mercedes toward George. From George's point of view, there is this assumption Mercedes are going to have the best car, or at least the best power unit, and maybe they will have the best power unit, but do they have Rob Marshall? Do they have Peter Pedromo at McLaren? No, they don't. George looked on from the sidelines as Lewis won these titles in the tail end of his Mercedes years, or at least the previous generation. George felt he should have got the promotion earlier. He thought he should have only done 1 year at Williams, not 3. And then as soon as George gets the promotion, they deliver the absolute dumpster fire that was the 2022 W, whatever it's called. Is there any guarantee that Mercedes are going to deliver a Grand Prix title winning car in 26? Absolutely not. When you look at how strong McLaren are right now, a lot of that understanding will carry over to the 26 car. And they're clearly onto a good thing from a technical point of view, the way McLaren have turned this ground effect this ground effect era around, right? So, as much as it makes more sense to me that George would not necessarily have faith in Mercedes than it would Mercedes not have faith in George, if you know what I'm saying. I've not worded that very well. Because Mercedes haven't proved in their current guys, right, post 2021, where they delivered a car that could win the title, that they can do that again. You know, they have that understanding, they have that team there. You know, so many senior personnel have moved away from Mercedes. It's a very different team now than it was back then. And I can understand George wanting to keep his options open. He's driving out of his skin at the minute, and any team would be ludicrous to not take him on. The Max factor, look, Max has talked about 2028 being his last year in F1, and he's actively pursuing these other racing ambitions now. So for Toto Wolff to put all his eggs in that basket, if Max just wants to, you know, sling his hook in 28 and go and do GT racing, that it sounds like he wants to. I mean, George Russell at Aston Martin would fit from a brand point of view. I don't know. As much as it feels like Mercedes aren't appreciating what they have, you know, if they can deliver a top car, they will always attract a top driver. But George needs to think for himself. And also, almost having this just 1 year extension. If George can keep doing what he's doing, he will get a top seat. The chance of Mercedes being the quickest car in 26 and them taking Max, I still think is unlikely, in my opinion. Especially to replace George if he keeps driving the way he is. It would be more likely, in my opinion, for Toto to just be like, Kimi, we're going to loan you out somewhere else. Verstappen Russell for 2027. Chaos. I'm trying to manifest it because that would be entertainment. Like, it's been so dead, the McLaren title fight this year. A Russell Verstappen inter-team title fight would be, it could not be further from a Norris Piastri Papaya rules title fight, could it? Unbelievable. So look, again, as long as George keeps cooking, driving the way he is, showing that he can be a world champion, because he absolutely can. He's absolutely got the minerals for it. There's no doubt in my mind. Then he should be fine. He should be fine. And Mercedes, if anything, are the ones who actually need to prove to the world that they can actually get back to where they were, because they're going to have to overcome a McLaren who are on absolute top form at the minute. They're going to have to overcome an Adrian Newey-brained Aston Martin, which is going to be an interesting sight. There's a lot of, maybe, I'm not going to say Ferrari recovery, because every time you get your hopes up, it's just gone. Vanished, disappeared. I've got a bad feeling this race is going to really expose just how bad Ferrari's season's gone. Because they won this race last year, got a 1-2 and all. And I think a Ferrari-less podium's very much on the cards. Very much on the cards. But Patrick, there's always next year. This will be our year. Ferrari for the last 15 years. Absolutely, Helita. Absolutely. Ferrari been recovering since 2007. Have kid. It's the hope that kills you, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you. But yes, anyway, finally this is done. Helita, you mentioned earlier in the live chat about Ted Kravitz's book, which is there's been some interesting bits that's come out from that, including, you know, George Russell's little monologue last year about Max Verstappen's borderline violence. Apparently, that was already pre-set up. That George said to Ted, "Oh, can you ask me another question after if I've got anything more to say?" So George kind of teed that up with Ted Kravitz, and now Ted Kravitz has aired that in his book. I do wonder if any other drivers have ever done that, and if they do that, they're probably not going to do that with Ted anymore because he'll just put it in another book. So, oh dear, all fun and games, mate. Listen, the character George Russell, I've never known a driver to divide opinion so much, but I think he is absolute gold. Like, this sport needs characters. It needs characters, and whether you like him or not, he's a character, and I think the sport's so much better for him. And I want Ricciardo's, right? I want Raikkonen's, just ice cold, just don't say anything. I want Verstappen's, who's out there, and I want George Russell's. Come on, so good, so good, so good. Right, okay. So that's that news covered. Lovely jubbly. Back to this and back to this. Bangers and clangers. Shall we get into it? My banging. Can't speak to them. Start again. My bangers and clangers for the 2025 Austin Grand Prix. Who's going to bang? Who's going to clang around the streets of the circuit of the Americas, which is not streets because it is a purpose-built racetrack, which is lovely. I'm so used to talking about street circuits that I almost slipped up. Right. Excellent. Let's go. Bangers and clangers. Race winner. Who's going to take the dub this time out? My prediction is Oscar Piastri. I think Oscar's going to get it done. I think the McLaren's going to be the quicker car at the front. I think the temperature, the higher temp is going to play into McLaren's favour as much as I think the Red Bull's going to be very quick around here. And the Mercedes should be quick, but the temps are going to hurt them in the race. I'm going to say McLaren win this, and I'm going to say it's Oscar Piastri who wins this race ahead of Lando Norris. I think Lando will be up there. I think Lando will get on the podium, but I think Oscar's going to get it done. He's had his lull, right? Not LOL, LUL, I guess. Lol when it's not so good. It's not very funny. Not from Oscar's point of view anyway. I'm going with the Aussie. I'm going Oscar Piastri to win the 2025 US Grand Prix. But what about you? Well, 775 of you voted. Thank you very much for voting again. Make sure subscribe to the Tommo YouTube channel or follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Tommo McCluskey, where I typically post these polls, although I never seem to post them on Instagram because I always forget. But you do see a lot of behind the scenes stuff on Instagram. So just if you're just interested, then go for it. Why not? Knock yourselves out. Who do you think is going to win the 2025 US Grand Prix? You've gone Max Verstappen. 46% of the vote as well. Pretty commanding win there for Max. Will he get it done? You lot think so? 27% Piastri, 18% Lando Norris, and 4% Charles Leclerc. The Ferrari copium, I see 4% of you, typically 4-5% of you are holding in there every single weekend for Charles Leclerc. I love it. I respect it. I respect it. And Gallagher, if they're your burner accounts, fair play. Fair play. If Gallagher's got a bot farm on this, voting for Charles Leclerc every weekend for a race winner, then I respect the hustle, my friend. I respect it. Okay, right. So, bangers and clangers done. Race winner done. Lovely jubbly. Banger driver this weekend. I've gone Ollie Behrman. Haas are bringing a special edition Stars and Stripes livery. They need to do everything they can to lean into the US thing as much as possible before Cadillac join next year, I guess, as well. And we did see a special edition Haas around Austin last year as well. And the Haas ran very well around here. I want to say there was a Haas in P8 and P11. I think Hulkenberg maybe P7 or 8, something like that. And Magnussen, I think, was P11. Could be wrong. But either way, they ran very well around COTA last year. And Ollie's been fairly consistently out qualifying Ocon as of late. So I'm going to say Ollie's going to have a banger and a bit of Chelmsford bias in there as well. Just, you know, just sprinkle that in there as well. Why not? Why not indeed? So my banger driver, Ollie Behrman. Your banger driver, Max Verstappen, with 14% of the vote, which just goes to show how much of a spread that was. So you've gone Max race win and Max banger. 12% Charles Leclerc, 11% Lewis Hamilton, 7% Liam Lawson. There's a lot of drivers here. We've got What other honourable mentions? Antonelli 6%, Russell 5, Alonso 5, Behrman 4, Sonoda 3, Hadjar 6, Sainz 6, Piastri 6. So very, very indecisive, you lot. Very indecisive. Doesn't have to add up to 100. There's always one. Kid, there's always one. Oh dear. So yes, Max Verstappen, race winner and banger drive from your point of view. Clanger drive. It's always hard to pick this because I'm not really going off much, but I'm going to say Pierre. As of late, it feels like Colapinto's had a bit of a quali. No, I wouldn't say advantage, but he's got a few dubs on Pierre, and the Alpine was rubbish around here last year. It's probably going to be rubbish around here this year, so I've gone Pierre because why not? Sorry, Pierre, someone's got to get it. And you've gone with Lando Norris. 14% of you, Lando Norris. 12% of you, Oscar Piastri. So both of the McLaren boys here getting big votes for Clanger driver. 12% Lance Stroll, 10% Yuki Tsunoda. So, yeah, not much love for the Papines in the pole camp right now. Whereas Max, look, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to manifest it, all right? Realistically, do I think this is going to happen? No. But, hey, look, if McLaren's crash into each other and Max wins this race, then this championship has been blown wide open. And I'll tell you what, from an entertainment point of view, that's exactly what this championship needs. We'll see. And again, that was also very evenly spread amongst a lot of drivers here. So we have Hamilton on 6% for Clanger, Leclerc on 4%, Russell on 4%, Antonelli on 5%, Gasly on 4%, Colapinto on 5%. So indecisive again, you lot. What's going on here? What's going on? So indecisive. Jeez. Banger team this weekend. I've gone Haas for all the reasons I outlined earlier. 8th and 11th last year around here. Ollie's been driving very good. Had a very good Grand Prix last time out. And I'm sure Ocon will pull it out in qualifying as well. I could see maybe not double points for Haas, but I reckon a point and a close to as well. So I'm going Haas banger on home surf. One on home surf. On a home turf. You know bed. And then your banger team is Ferrari. 16% of the vote. Now, I called you lot indecisive on these last polls. 16% Ferrari, 15% McLaren, 14% Red Bull, 13% Racing Bulls for your banger team. Ridiculous indecisiveness here. This poll, honestly, disgusts me looking at it, right? 11% of you went Mercedes, didn't make top 4. 11% of you went Haas, didn't make top 4. 11% of you went Racing Bulls, it did make the top 4. Williams, it's just ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Aston Martin even got 6.2% of the vote, and they were absolutely nowhere near. So, you lot, sort it out. Sort it out. Sort it out. Because this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. I don't know how Ferrari got back. Like Ferrari, 15.5% of the vote. Then Red Bull, 15% exactly. It's just ridiculous. Absolute ridiculousness. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then finally, we have the final category, which is Clanger team. And I've gone Ferrari. Because of course they're going to let themselves down around a track they were phenomenal around last year. Of course they are. Of course they are. Got rid of my Tommo's ability to keep talking. I know, right, track limits. You should. My wife would tell you the same. Clanger team Ferrari for me. And you've gone Alpine. 24% of the vote. Still very indecisive. Still big spread. You've got Alpine, you've got Ferrari up there, you've got Red Bull, you've got McLaren. It's just chaos. It's just chaos. All things considered, it's absolute chaos. 2 Alpines as well. Yeah, that's definitely a typo. That should be Ferrari in second place, not Alpine in second place. But we'll look past that. We'll look past that, everyone. Right. Anything else that we need to cover before I wrap this. I've been live now for 40 minutes, which I like to try and get 40 minutes. Squeeze 40 minutes of time out of you lot. I know that Celebrity Traitors is on right now, and I'm sorry for doing this during Celebrity Traitors, but I've already missed the start of it. So I'm just like, you know what, Hannah, just update me on what's going on, all right? Racing Bulls. I've not seen the Racing Bulls livery. I've seen the Racing Bulls team kit. I didn't realise. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised if Racing Bulls have done a special edition livery. I've seen the team kit. Oh yeah, the livery itself. Oh, interesting. This is. There's a lot going on here. Right, let me get some pictures on screen so you can actually see what I'm live reacting to here. So if I just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then drag this here, you're going to not see my face for a bit. Look at that. Wow. I mean, that is... I'll just move over here. That is... What do you think? What do you think, people? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. I just spat all over the table. That's lovely. There's a lot going on here. I'm not sure. I think it's probably a no from me. The lighting is carrying. Yeah, these renders as well, probably making it look better than it actually is. I loved the pink Racing Bulls earlier this year. I get what they're trying with this, but it's a no from me. I've got to say, it's a no from me, I'm afraid. Let's also get the Haas special edition livery up. That also is a bit of a no from me. From what I remember anyway, seeing it. I'm sure they've posted images on their socials. Of course they have. That angle doesn't really look any different though. Let's do this angle. Right. So that's the Racing Bulls in all its glory. Generous use of the word glory there. And this is the Haas. Once again, full screen. That's definitely the wrong window. Come on. Come on, Tommo. You're meant to know what you're doing here with all these stream graphics and things. Right, that's the Haas, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool. Yeah, you know what, this is fine, because it, at a glance, it kind of looks like the normal livery, but obviously all the stars and stripes. This is a, yeah, much more refined approach to a special edition Austin Grand Prix livery than this absolute, I don't want to call it a monstrosity, but it kind of is. I don't like this, but I kind of like this. You know, that's kind of the way I feel. That's the way I feel about it. Chat, Haas looks the same. Yeah, that's what I mean, Lou. But it fits. You know, it passes the subtlety. Not quite an abomination check. But yes. Anyway. Bosh, lovely jubbly. We've looked at some liveries. Anything else I need to cover here that hasn't been discussed, hasn't been spoken upon? I think we've covered everything, haven't we? Halloween themed. Yeah, it could be Halloween themed, but I'm sure it's more meant to be more of a cowboy theme. No? Sausage dog quota. Well, the sausage dog's downstairs, I'm afraid. For the post-race, I'll bring the sausage, all right? But for pre-race, not quite. Barbecue coal. Right. I think this is a good time to wrap it. Thank you all for joining me. Appreciate you all taking the time. Daniel, Josh, Miguel, Shep, Elite, Emilio, Thomas, Joshua, William, Rayner, Piglet, Aviator Knight, Simon, Clara, Toby, Brandon, McFillan, Alex, Pierce, Josh, Nate, Freya, Fiddlesticks. Just got here. Fiddlesticks just got here. I'm not doing that joke. I've done that joke far too many times. All right. Can we start again? No. Fiddlesticks. No. Use the little thing at the bottom and then go. That's the start. There you go. Bosh. Lovely job. Thank you all for taking the time. I appreciate you as ever. Enjoy this Grand Prix. Should be a banger this weekend. I'm very much looking forward to this. And hopefully, look, I just want to see a title fight that goes to the death. That's what I want to see. A title fight that goes not to the literal death, Like the death as in the death of the season to the final race, just to clarify. So, yeah. What will be will be. Austin loves to throw up some surprises, so fingers crossed it does. Thank you again, everyone. My name's Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.